Okay, so one of the ongoing themes of this channel by default is the fact that Americans often mistake anyone with a Spanish last name as instantly being Mexican. We've talked about that before. The Americans get confused the fact that Spain, you can be from Spain and not be Mexican or South American because of our proximity to South America and Mexico and Central America and so on. Okay, so that exists, and a lot of people from Europe get kind of tensed up when they hear it, but it exists. And I think by talking about it, I'm helping to kind of clear up the air on how this works. So knowing that that's a common theme on this channel, it comes up a lot. I was watching a new special on Netflix from Tom Segura. It's called Disgraceful. It's not family friendly like the title of my blog here, my YouTube channel. But in the middle of the act, he talks about how his last name's Segura. He says people ask him, you know, where's that from? What are you, Japanese? And he's like, no, my dad's Spanish. It's a Spanish name, but my mother's Peruvian. So like, oh, so you're Mexican? He's like, no, it's a Spanish name, and they just keep assuming that he's Mexican. And it's funny because it's true. It's funny because so many people, if they hear a Spanish last name, that person is automatically Mexican, like Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. His father was Spanish. That's where that name comes from. He wasn't Mexican. He was Spanish. His dad, his father, his lineage went back to Spain, like it went to other parts of the world too. It was a Spanish last name. Jerry Garcia was not Mexican. You know, the default lead singer of the Grateful Dead was not Mexican. But for a lot of Americans, when they hear Jerry Garcia, oh yeah, he must have been Mexican or something. That's what they assume. So when I saw Tom Segura talk about this, I thought that's exactly it. You know, I think culturally, as an American, the standard for so many people is to assume if you have a Spanish last name and you're not Filipino, that you must be Mexican. The concept that someone could just have a Spanish last name because someone in their family tree came from Spain, but not somewhere in Central or South America, it's a hard thing for a lot of Americans to fathom. It is. So I'm talking about this not because I'm defending it. I'm talking about it because I'm actually trying to clear the air and point out that while a lot of Americans are confused by it, I'm not. At the same time, I've never in my life met what I could call a Spanish American. I've never met anyone who had a last name that was Spanish that wasn't Mexican or Central American or something like that. And I think that in itself is very telling. If you don't meet people who are just simply of Spanish descent or from Spain, and you only meet people from Central America or South America with those same names that make you think of Spain, that's what tends to happen. I'm not defending it. I'm explaining it to everyone. I'm explaining it to the people in Europe who are confused why Americans are so confused, and I'm explaining it to people who are here in America that are still confused by what I said about Jerry Garcia. Yeah, Jerry Garcia, his father was Spanish, which is the name Garcia. Yet you can be Mexican or Puerto Rican and have that last name, and you would be something else. But Jerry Garcia was of Spanish descent, completely unrelated to Central or South America, something like that. Tom Segura, Disgraceful, he talks about it. It's funny. It's funny because it's true. And I'm here not to defend it, but to explain it.